Welcome to Chasing Aptera, where I chronicle my experiences acquiring and owning the very unique Aptera Launch Edition solar electric vehicle. In this episode, I do a thought experiment. I look at the things that might worry me about getting the Aptera EV. Don't misunderstand me, I'm a huge advocate for Aptera. I'm an investor and I support its mission. But I'm also a realist. Aptera is a startup, the investment is risky, they don't have a production vehicle yet, and there are a number of things that could go wrong. The most obvious is they don't get the funding they need. I'm optimistic though, because people continue to make large investments, even though at this recording, Aptera's crowdfunding is temporarily closed to so-called non-accredited investors, and the company has applied for a large loan from the government, which is designed to specifically support the production of such vehicles. Still, this hasn't been a good time for EV startups, except for maybe VinFast. Steve of Aptera Owners Club did an excellent overview of the companies that have failed or are struggling and how their issues are probably different than Aptera's. I'll link to it below. Then there's the whole issue of acquiring the EV. Aptera is vague about delivery options. My research shows having the EV shipped from California to my home in Georgia would cost around $1,500 and take 5 to 7 days. While I guess we could have the vehicle shipped, what fun is that? My wife and I are retired and like the idea of flying out to California to pick up the EV, then driving it back the over 2,000 miles. Maybe do some sightseeing along the way and visit friends in Texas and family in Oklahoma. That would be the ultimate test of the vehicle, and naturally it raises worries of its own. Weather could be a factor. We've had a lot of weather extremes lately, and this is especially true for Texas, which makes up a large chunk of our trip. Depending on when we can pick it up, we may get to see how the Launch Edition actually does in the extreme heat. Here's the infamous clip of Aptera's Gamma pre-production vehicle not being able to get up a hill on a hot day.
Our test model had some obvious flaws, and it could barely make it uphill without overheating.
We're slowing it down again. I think you're the first person to ever drive this on a hill.
In all fairness, the motor's cooling tubes had not been fully implemented on the Gamma when this was shot. Aptera has since released this video showing the vehicle easily ascending Double Peak Park in San Marcos, California. On the other hand, if our vehicle becomes available late in the year, we may have to deal with extreme cold. It should be noted that cars with internal combustion engines can suffer from extreme weather conditions as well. There should be plenty of charging stations along the way. Since it uses the North American charging standard based on the Tesla plug, the Tesla network will be available as well. But what if we goof in our planning and end up without enough charge to get to the nearest charging station? Well, the Aptera does have solar panels. Theoretically, if it's a sunny day and not too hot, we could sit on the side of the road for a while and perhaps store enough energy to get us to a charging station if it's not too far away. And we've been members of AAA for 23 years. For now anyway, the best they can do for us in this situation is to give us a tow to a charging station or even a campsite. Yes, a campsite. Years ago, I ran into one of the original Tesla owners who talked about driving across country before charging networks were as prevalent as they are now. He would plug in at campsites and sleep in his car. The rear of the Aptera is actually large enough to sleep 2 average-sized people, and in fact, a camping package is offered as an option. But back to AAA, they do have a pilot program offering mobile charging for EVs, but the pilot is nowhere near our route, at least not for now. What if we get a flat tire? The Aptera uses a standard tire with 16-inch rim, but from what I can tell, no spare is provided, though I understand nearly half the new cars today do not come with spares. Aptera says the tire can be replaced relatively easy using standard tools. So I guess I could buy a spare and bring it and the necessary tools with me, or bring one of those emergency tire repair kits, or just have AAA tow me to the nearest tire shop. It's not that different than if we were driving a car with an internal combustion engine. Then there's the worst case scenario. Some part breaks. Aptera is an advocate for right to repair, and this is what they say about that.
In some cases, you may live too far away from where our service agents are located. When this happens, we take active part in helping you find a local repair shop and ship you any needed parts within 24 hours. And we make all our service and build information available to assist when needed.
Sure, if this happens, we may end up staying an extra day or two in a hotel waiting for our part and praying we can install it ourselves, or that we or Aptera find someone who can. But you know, it's relatively easy to obsess about all the things that can go wrong, especially when you're talking about an unproven entity. The fact is, I've made quite a few cross-country road trips in my time in different makes and models of cars, and I've never run out of gas, never had a flat tire, and never had a part break. Maybe I was just lucky, but I don't want to overlook the very real possibility that nothing will go wrong on this trip either. In any case, it will be an adventure, and you can be sure I'll document it and share it with you. Thank you for watching. I look forward to your comments, and I hope you'll join me on future episodes of Chasing Aptera.